during that time, I was an adolescent, and another thing that I struggled with was this idea that my opinion didn't count, it didn't matter. And I never forgot, I went to a college, it was in Westchester County, and it was a very affluent community. It was about 90% white. I was one of the few specks of pepper in a sea of salt, right? And I never forgot, there was this one professor. He was a priest. He had the collar that he wore all the time. He was a Catholic in college. He had piercing blue eyes and this ruddy red complexion and snow white hair. And he had a grimace on his face that said, "I hate life and I want everybody to hate it with me." It was that kind of look. And he had the habit of choosing someone to humiliate once a day in his class. And this day, I saw his eyes locking on me as I walked across the room. And he had a sneer on his face and he said, "I'm getting that one today." And there was a glass of water on that table. And what was interesting was this is an economic class. So the glass of water is sitting on the table. And he looks at me and he says, "Mr. Hines, is this glass of water half full or half empty?" So I said, "I can't answer the question." It's a simple question. Is it half full or half empty? I'm sorry, I can't answer the question. Look, this isn't rocket scientist, Mr. Hines. I need an answer. Is it half full or half empty? I said, "I can't answer the question." He said, "Why?" I said, "Because I don't know how that glass came to be at 50% capacity. You see, if it was an empty glass that you poured to 50% of its content, then it would be half full. On the other hand, if it was a full glass that you poured out half of its content, then it would be half empty. So until I know how that glass came to be at 50%, I can't answer the question." This man turned beet red. Redder than he was when he started. And he literally went, and bit himself, and that scared the heck out of me. He bit himself. And then he said, "Sit down." Now, I tell that story because in that moment, I realized that my reasoning and my opinion, it mattered. But let's fast forward. Fast forward 12 years later. I'm an adult, I'm sitting home, and I'm watching Johnny Carson, one of my favorite talk show hosts at the time. And in that moment, Johnny introduces Bill Cosby. Now this is before Bill Cosby was whatever you guys think he is now. That was when he was the Jell-O pudding guy, Cliff Huxtable, right? And Johnny welcomes him to the stage, he sits down, and Bill says, "I got a story to tell you about a college student. It's an interesting thing. He had a professor, and the professor said, 'Is this glass of water half full or half empty?' And I heard my story from Bill Cosby being told at Johnny Carson on The Tonight Show. And I'm like, whoa. And Johnny says, I've got to meet this college kid. If he's out there, call. I was calling the Burbank studio today. I get this New York operator, and she said, "What can I do for you, honey?" I said, "I'm the kid. I told that story a bunch of times in New York and Manhattan, so it must have gotten back to Mr. Cosby." And she says, "Listen, sweetheart, you're the 25th person that's we don't have time for this. Have a So I never got my shot with Johnny. But I realized in that moment that my opinion mattered. I realized that it had taken root and gone all the way through the channels until it was a #1 talk show in the United States at that time. Your opinion and your beliefs true to those convictions in order to get to the next level. So young people, and perhaps older people, you will never really know when you'll have a defining moment. But when you have that moment, you embrace it, you recognize it, and then you take that moment and you use it as a springboard